Hello, and welcome to another Kaiju OC profile. Today's monster we're going to be taking a look at is something of an unknown species, a subspecies, a monster that lay dormant for 1,000 years, only to be awakened by mankind's mistakes. This monster goes by one name, the name Goronosaurus. Hello guys, Godzilla here with another Kaiju OC profile. And today we are going to be taking a look at Goronosaurus by Puggoji 1964 on Instagram. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it with the stats and abilities. His height is 403 meters. Weighed at 141,056 tons, and his powers include Thunder Blast, Thunder Stomp, has the ability to zap bolts of electricity out of his fins, and spikes on his tail that can give you a bit deep of a scar. That is directly on what he typed in. And, the stats on this guy is pretty good. I would say that the weight is a bit much. A monster that's around 400 meters wouldn't really have that sort of weight unless it's like some sort of massive robot or something like that. In this case, Goronosaurus, I feel like he should be like at least maybe around 50,000 or 60,000 at least. 141,000 just kind of means like, he's a fucking huge ass fat monster or something. But I guess that's something I would change. Thunder Blast and Thunder Stomp. They're pretty good for the most part. The names are okay, I guess. Um, I would have preferred to just come up with like maybe some unique names of them instead of just the the usual Thunder Blast or Thunder Stomp. It kind of gets the point across on what they are, but the whole point of naming abilities or weapons of your own original monster or a character is that you also have to make original sort of weapons instead of just and abilities instead of just the usual sort of like thunder or lightning or something like that. I would say to fix up on that when it comes to the naming of abilities. And I like the whole explanation on like he has the ability to zap bolts of electricity out of his fins. It's pretty good, but at the same time though, I would still prefer like having some names, like to name the abilities. Um, that's the only thing that I could really just give right there. So overall, everything on this monster when it comes to stats and abilities are pretty good. It's just the naming of the powers and weapons are something I would fix, as well as the weight. Now, the origins of Goronosaurus pretty much just goes as follows. A subspecies of dinosaur that mostly spends its time underwater eating lots of fish. Then the dinosaurs died. He could stay underwater for a very long time, and he would stay young for 1,000 years more. Years have passed. People have decided to dump radioactive water into the ocean. He was feasting on a shark at that time as the human dumped it and he was in pain, burning. He passes out, then he wakes up and starts rising out of the water as Goronosaurus. So pretty much, this monster, this dinosaur, became what he became as like a giant radioactive dinosaur, pretty much. All from eating a shark, man. Who knew that? Who knew that life can change that quick for a generic dinosaur? Um, So yeah, like it's pretty interesting of the whole staying young for 1,000 more years, which is pretty interesting, I guess. Um, I would say to give a little bit more explanation on that. Um, and the many years have passed, and people decided to dump radioactive water. That's pretty good. Overall, there's nothing really too much with the origins here. It's just there are some certain areas that need a little bit more explanation, like what kind of fish or what kind of species of dinosaur we're talking about. That those kind of little things that can maybe like help a bit more on the monster's origins. Just everything else like that, is something that I would say that needs to be fixed. Other than that, though, the whole everything else is really good. The subspecies of dinosaur, radioactive water. Maybe explore a little bit more into that and just like give more to the origins itself. But yeah, overall origins. Besides those things you gotta fix, the origins are good nonetheless. Now, for design wise, when it comes to the design of Goronosaurus, you could see that pretty much it's just typical generic green spiked dinosaur monster. That's basically all it really is when it comes to design. Just a generic upright green dinosaur. And that's pretty much all it is. What I do like is that over time he's actually gone out of his way to improve more and more to the design. Like he's adding a little bit more to the design than it already has, which I do appreciate. I will say that there are some drawings that he does that have a bit of a 2014 kind of vibe, which is something that I tend to come across when it comes to people that make their own OCs. Like I understand like if you want to start off with the basis of a monster of like a regular monster, and then over time using it, and then over time improving upon it over time. But in Puggoji's case right here, he kind of just like kept the design of the aspects of the 2014 design. I would say maybe improve a bit more on that and to make it look a little bit different. I would say to change up the design a bit, making the head a little bit more tyrannosaur like, if anything, and then just like adding some more to it basically. Maybe add some spikes here and there, and maybe change up the overall design a bit. I mean, you could keep the design, but this and the color schemes and everything like that. But you gotta add a little bit more to it than just like your generic green looking dinosaur. When it comes to color, the color is pretty good for the most part. It's like there's only two shades of green that I see. There's light green for the body, there's dark for the throat, and there's and dark green for the body and chest, and we got red on the side. Um, I'd say those are pretty good when it comes to like the colors and all that. It's just not really much else to it, and yeah, overall the design on this monster is pretty good nonetheless. So, what are my final thoughts on Goronosaurus? Well, Goronosaurus is a pretty much what you get when you make an original monster. You come up with a green monster with red spikes on its back and everything else like that. Um, there's nothing really much else to it. Goronosaurus is a pretty good monster. I would say. The stats and abilities would need to be worked on a bit, including the origins. Design wise, I'm already aware that he's actually, changing it up a bit. I just thought I add my own little things about it, my own thoughts on the whole design overall. Um, and speaking of designs, I also forgot to mention of being the fact that this monster is radioactive, as you described. Being like having eaten a radioactive shark. I would say add two eyes on its eye hole basically. Because being that it's a radioactive monster, you want it to look menacing and you also want it to look strange. So I would say add two pairs of eyes on one hole right here. Basically how I did the illustration right here, basically. But overall, there's nothing really much else to it. Goronosaurus is a pretty cool monster, and there's nothing really much else to it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Still currently accepting requests for any of you guys. If you guys want to give me your information on your KAIJU OC or anything like that, you could send me a DM on Instagram or on Discord, on the Discord server that I'm in. So yeah, there's nothing really much else to it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Sayonara.